Welcome to Inside the 87's, your home for updates of one of the top junior hockey programs in the EHL, located in the hockey hotbed of New Jersey, where hockey players are molded for the next level, the 87 way.
This week in Inside the 87's, we have an alumni spotlight, and here on our show is former 87's captain Jack McDonough. Jack, thank you so much for joining the show.
Thanks for having me, Anthony. Always a pleasure.
So, Jack, you were the captain for the 87's first ever EHL team, 2018-2019. You committed to Manhattanville College and finished off your freshman year, albeit a little shortened. But what did you think about your first year in college?
First year was absolutely surreal. I really enjoyed everything about Manhattanville. It's a great school, top to bottom, from the academics all the way to the athletics. So everything went really well, and I couldn't be happier with my experience so far.
So, playing at the NCAA level, you're playing against some guys that have also played in the EHL, maybe some guys in the North American Hockey League. What was your initial impression when you were playing at that D3 level?
So I guess my first impression, and I can kind of circle back and touch on this later too, with how the 87's helped me prep. But the Division III game is really systematic. There's not a lot of I wouldn't say creativity, but there's not a lot of room for going outside the system. Teams are very, very structured. And I think that was my biggest adjustment and I guess realization entering the league.
You scored a couple of goals. You got one against Chatham. That was your first in your collegiate career, right? How did that feel?
That was great. That was a great feeling, as I'm sure anyone will say. But definitely it's a bit of a relief as well. But to do it on home ice, my family was there. It was really great, really special.
So You brought it up before. It's a very systems-oriented game. Adam Hooley, the 87's coach, likes to have his system. So would you say that was a big part in getting you ready for the collegiate level?
100%. I think the balance that Coach Hooley and Coach Kiernan kind of strike with us, the 87's, is they not only recognize what's required at that college level, which as we discussed is a lot of systems. But they also allow a bit of creativity and free reign, so players have that opportunity to kind of explore and discover what role they can really mold themselves into for that college level. So it's a great balance. You learn about yourself as a player, and you also learn some really good concrete systems that will pay dividends at the next level.
And how would you say the skill and speed compare? The 87's love to play a really fast tempo game. Do you think that also helped at all when you transitioned to the D3 level?
Absolutely. Just because like the Coach Hooley and Coach Kieran, they really do have an extensive knowledge of the NCAA level, and you don't realize it as much until you get there, and you think to yourself, wow, like this drill or this play, directly translates. So the not run and gun, but the very speedy type of offense that we ran was very comparable to that in the NCAA, and it helped me a lot.
And Jack, one thing I also want to touch up upon, because you've played for a wide variety of junior hockey teams. You're from Pennsylvania. You've played with the Junior Flyers, the Johnstown Tomahawks. You also played in the Corpus Christi Ice Rays in the North American Hockey League. Then you went to the Avalanche, and then you came to the 87. So what was that kind of like, being a bit of a journeyman throughout all those different teams?
Yeah, it was interesting for sure. You get a lot of suitcase chirps on the ice here and there, but it was an experience I wouldn't trade for anything looking back. Experiencing different places, different types of living, and people from all walks of life. It was really great. And I guess just to narrow in on my EHL experience, playing with the Avalanche, winning a championship there was unbelievable. And Coach Sorella and Coach Martinello do fantastic job up there. Obviously, their numbers speak for themselves. And when it came time for my age out year, I had kind of thought maybe I want to live a little bit closer to home. And they had suggested and highly recommended the 87's in New Jersey. So it all kind of worked out. And, I can't thank them enough for helping me throughout my process.
Now, what was your impression going to play for a first year EHL program? Now, the 87s had already had the premier team, but this is their first time playing in the quote unquote the E show, as the league loves to brand it as. So,
Oh yeah.
you're coming into a first year program. Did you have any reservations about that, or how did you feel coming into it?
To be honest, I tried to keep kind of a clear slate and just let things develop as they went on. Obviously, out of a first year program, you don't have crazy expectations, but as soon as I got there on the first day of training camp, and the locker rooms prepped and the gears in the stalls and everything, you kind of felt a very strong culture of professionalism, and that was pretty cool on day one to see that.
you know, Obviously the 87s had a really good year that season. Going up in the playoffs, though, you faced the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Knights. It was a best-of-3 series. It went right down to the wire. But overall, though, what did you think about that season?
The season was unbelievable. I mean, I tell the guys all the time. I mean, we all keep in touch. That was the best year of hockey I've experienced. And it was so much fun. Not only were we winning games and being successful on the ice, but the team culture that starts with with the coaching staff and trickles down was unbelievable. I had so much fun. Grew as a player and a person. So I really I can't say enough good things about that year.
Jack, as we're talking about the 2018-2019 season, how about we go over some superlatives with some of your teammates?
Can't wait.
And we have a little list right here. The first one I'll ask you, fastest skater.
Fastest skater. I got the roster up here on my side, but bit of a dark horse is it's going to be Andrew Maynard, the Moose.
Really?
Yeah, the Moose. We did races at practice one day. He wanted to take on the whole team. It may not look like he's moving so fast, but he's got a pretty long stride, and he took down some fast guys out there. So,
Well, I guess a Moose can be pretty fast. That is a surprising answer.
the Moose can get going.
Hardest shot.
Hardest shot. I'm gonna send this one out to another alum, Max Van Lanker. He could get a hold of it. Yeah, definitely.
Most useful around the house.
Oh boy. Around the dupe. This one's an easy one. This is Johnny Kopak all the way. You asked that kid to jump. He said how high. So he would do the dishes for us. He would clean up. Obviously we would all pitch in, but he was the best at it. He even got a pair of those rubber gloves to do the dishes. So
Yeah, I know a lot of the players who kind of live together with the Billet family. So that was something that came to mind. That's good to know, though. John was a terrific goaltender too for the past 2 seasons.
you ever need someone to do some housework, just give him a call. So
I'll be sure to remember that. Most creative player on the ice.
most creative player. Probably Zach Tarantino. I know, a lot of times guys would call him a wizard out there. He'll make you miss plenty of ways. I think it's maybe his roller background, but he's so creative and so skilled with his hands. So
His chemistry with Jack Lane was just something else to watch.
it was really, really cool. I almost felt like when I played on the line with them, we'd be discussing plays that I didn't really understand, and I'd be like, "Hey guys, what's going on?" They're like, "Don't worry about it. Just go to the net and put your stick down." And lo and behold, the next shift, that's what would happen. So they really were on the same page.
How about best hair?
Best hair? Oh man. Some people might be mad about this one, but Jack Lane's got the best hair. You gotta pump his tires a little bit, especially since Rachel took care of him for playoffs. He had a nice little blonde mullet going. So
Funniest teammate.
funniest teammate. I guess the creativity translated off the ice too, because I might have to go with Zach again. He is the best at it. He will endless jokes on the bus. But honorable mention is Joff Lamore. He was the next room over from me, and he would be putting jokes through the walls sometimes and just making me laugh, making all of us laugh. So
Now, this one might tie into funniest. Who had the best chirps on the team?
Oh boy! Again, we might as well call him a Zach of all trades because it's happening again. He has the best chirps. So half the time they don't make sense. But again, he always has them ready. He would host like roast sessions on the bus and just like you know I guess you'd call it freestyle, and he would just rattle off jokes. But Joff's right up there with the chirps too. I'll give him that.
Best taste in music or best locker room DJ?
Locker room, we had a lot of guys that thought they were good locker room DJs. So let me go over this a little bit. Um, hmm. So we had a lot of guys that liked some EDM stuff. Not really my speed, but I'll give this one to Austin Bell. He was pretty good at slowing things down in the locker room, maybe putting on a little Texas country that he liked. So I'll give that one to him.
Did anyone have any obscure taste in music where, if they control the room, you think, what are they playing?
There's one guy that comes to mind, and that's Tim Lazuski. I have heard the Belarus national anthem more times than I have ever thought I would in my life. So that's up there. We also had Ty Brand and Trent Shanley were big EDM guys. So we had a great mix of tastes, and sometimes they clashed, but we all got along.
Best work ethic?
Work ethic. Yeah, that's easy. I don't even have to look at the roster. Tim Lazuski. And that's pretty much all categories of life. He'd show up and outwork everybody at the rink, in the gym, and then he'd go home and work on a college course or some advanced aerospace engineering stuff. Stuff that I can't even wrap my head around, and I would try to ask him about it. But he's a workhorse in every sense of the word. So all the respect in the world for him.
Not surprising that he was the successor to you as the next captain of the 87's.
And well deserved. He's the guy that could run that ship. He does it well.
Now, speaking of compete level, it's something that head coach Adam Hooley and Matt Kiernan would talk about all the time, and it's something you wanted to talk about too, Jack. How important did you see the compete level that they preached in your transition from the 87's to Manhattanville?
I mean, it's vital. It's imperative. And Coach Hooley and Coach Matty, they made a point to emphasize that because that's really all that, that's one of the main things that's preached at the next level. You go from playing a 50 to 60 game schedule to a 30 game schedule, if that, 25 game schedule in college. So it's not, you can't take a game, a period, a shift off because guys are chomping at the bit every time they step on the ice, and it'll end up in the back of your net. And then if you do that 2 or 3 times, you're going to be in the stands. And the coach at the 87's just really pounded that into us. They made sure we understood that. And when you get to college, it just becomes really really true and really important. So can't thank them enough for instilling those values in us at the junior level.
A lot of players from that team returned for another season, 2019, 2020. You said you've kept in touch with a lot of guys. So did you kind of give them an inside scoop of what the college game was like?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I tried to give as much insight as I could. Those guys are like family to me now. So any little tidbits of advice I could give, and I was following the team and the commitments the whole way. So it really made me happy to see all those guys accomplish their goals as I had seen them battle through the year before, and not only their individual goals, but to see the team do as well as they did. Obviously, unfortunate how the season was shortened, but to see them really kind of pick up where we left off and take the program to even new heights was really awesome to see as an alum of the program.
Did you get to watch the games often on Hockey TV?
Definitely. Yeah. I told the guys when I had left, I'm going to be in my dorm or in the library, and I'm going to have 87's games on. And that was for sure the case. So.
You've also been to Middletown a couple times. I remember seeing you at some games. We were talking about it before we started the interview. You were also there on the last day of the season before now everything kind of shut down. But is it always nice seeing the guys when you take that trip to Middletown?
100%. Whether it's for an 87's game or a Titans game, that whole culture at Middletown is very family oriented, and I always feel great, going back and seeing everybody and watching great hockey there.
So for any players that you talk about the culture, for any players that are thinking about, playing the junior game and thinking about maybe trying out for the 87s of the Titans, what would you tell them?
Just that, there's a lot of talk, there's a lot of propaganda out there about what junior league and what junior team is best, and it seems like an absolute maze at times. Like, trust me, I've been through it. But if you're a prospective player thinking about going to the 87s, hopefully if this holds any weight, throw away your reservations, because it's good people that really care about you over there. And not only do they care, but they have the knowledge and the ability to develop you and help you achieve your goals, whatever that may be.
And Jack, unfortunately the season was cut a little short, but you're gearing up for your second season in Manhattanville. What are some things you look to improve on personally?
So after my first season of kind of just getting my foot in the door and getting used to the NCAA game, I felt like I was given a lot of offensive freedom with the 87s, and I kind of want to continue that at the NCAA level, and maybe produce a little more on offense, and hopefully develop my game as a defensive center below the dots as well. And as far as the team goes, our goal is conference championships and making an NCAA tournament appearance. So hopefully, we'll be able to achieve those and build on kind of what we started last year.
All right, this has been an alumni spotlight with former 87s captain Jack McDonough, getting ready for his second year at Manhattanville College. Jack, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Anthony. I appreciate it.
We'd like to thank Jack McDonough again for joining the show. Now we continue our top 10 plays of the year segment. And coming in at play number 7, it's a save made by Tanner Beals, one of the 3 starting goaltenders for the 87's EHL team. Here he makes a terrific lunging save in a 2-on-1 rush in a game against the New York Apple Corps. So here it is, top play number 7, a spectacular save by Tanner Beals.
It's left in the second period. The pass goes past Gould, and now here's a chance for Hughes. Could be a 2-on-1. Hughes across to Massey. His shot, big save by Beals as he covers. Brandon Hughes with a perfect pass.